It's Exci.
That's not me, that's a big spaceship.
Series 7, Episode 10, Disc 4. It's Journey to the Center of the TARDIS.
I bet the viewers feel really daft having missed our commentary tracks on every other episode up until this point.
I need you to know, we only have a certain amount of time on this Earth. Why did you bring Journey to the Center of the TARDIS today?
Because I remember it being really weird. I remember sort of really liking it and also hating it at the same time, and I have no other memories of it.
So this is going to be like a brand new episode for you in a way.
Yeah.
Shit, well, I'll be your tour guide because I've watched it 3 times in the last 2 weeks and I've got notes.
I'm really sorry for inflicting that on you.
No, it's actually, I've surprised myself. I've probably enjoyed this. Like, right now, for instance, there is a song playing, I believe. That's Firewoman by the band Crush 40.
This is one of the best Clara outfits as well. Clara and 11 outfits, actually. They're both on point in this.
I've got Clara's wardrobe memorized in the not creepy way, in the appreciating costume design way. Every single fit of hers is, I believe the gays would say, a serve. Crush 40, I'm told by my Sonic mutuals, this is a Sonic band who do Sonic the Hedgehog butt rock. And Doctor Who just played Rouge the Bat's theme.
I like these trio of like space scavengers who play the Sonic theme.
It's a dope way to start an episode, I'll tell you that much. It's downhill from here. It's a strong pitch, can I just say. Solid premise of rag and bone men junkers in the TARDIS.
Oh yeah.
It's a great starting place.
I don't get why the Doctor has to turn the shields down for Clara to practice flying.
Am I adding more misogyny into this era, or is there a women drivers joke in the Moffat run? Or have I completely made that up?
It wouldn't shock me.
Seriously, I let her drive my car once, where, according to Amy, there was an unexpected house.
Oh, careful, Doctor. Hey, you could call that, Jay. You could call that the fall of Doctor Who.
Oh!
Hey!
Oh God, I forgot about this title sequence. If you look carefully, you can see fucking everything.
Every filter. It was 2013. If you look super carefully, you can see the TARDIS is having like a really jittery time. And that's specific for this one because it's being magna clamped as we speak.
Oh, this looks like the intro to Art Attack.
I will say, I think this is the closest Series 7B gets to a passing grade. Ooh. On broadcast, I liked this plenty.
On broadcast, I liked them all plenty, but then my memory just sort of soured over time.
This one, I don't blame you for not thinking of it as like a landmark. It's a Steve Thompson episode, and he's the writer who gave us... He's a Sherlock writer who gave us Time Heist and Curse of the Black Spot. I like them all, but nothing puts this guy on the map, does it?
I watched Curse of the Black Spot recently for some reason. I don't remember why. Its reputation does it a disservice.
So Steve Thompson is an elevator of what should be filler, and he turns them into really serviceable episodes.
Where is she? Girl, about so high, feisty.
Oh, fuck it, he lost another one. Small girl, feisty, doesn't really narrow it down.
That's a good point. No, Karen Gillan's quite tall, so...
Yeah, but I think he's noticed that she's missing by now.
I want to see the scene where he gets out and doesn't realise that she's fallen out of the console room.
She must have fell a ways, by the way. Like, this isn't good. This really isn't good. And all she came out with it was a burn, because the TARDIS is made of paper mache and plasterwood. Although, I actually do have to say, this episode has like one job when you pitch it. It's like, we're going to do a TARDIS epic. It's not a high bar to clear, but look, just don't make the inside of the TARDIS look like cardboard. We've gone from disused gymnasium to Gothic castle, and now I guess what would you describe this as?
I mean, classic spaceship, really. Almost Skaro hallways.
Something I always thought was odd about this placement was that just a year ago we had the Doctor's wife, and that's a big TARDIS story as well, where we're running around TARDIS corridors on loop. We've done this recently? in that one, the TARDIS was characterized as a sexy lady. And now it's back to being like a feral animal that's like lashing out at all of them.
I remember, yeah, my favorite line of dialogue from the episode is where Matt Smith looks into camera and says, "I fuck the TARDIS regularly."
He does that a couple times in this, and it just gets more uncomfortable every time. It's a really weird creative choice.
Everyone in this is so well dressed.
Don't try to leave.
Oh God, that's so sinister. Don't try to leave.
Buckle in, boys. He does not say that, but...
You crazy lunatic! My ship morals!
Well, he's a conniving little sinister shit in this one. I was shocked to realise this episode does have a theme. It's got a moral, and it develops up characters. And I was like, shit, I thought it was just the TARDIS run around. It's this one that the Doctor finally realises, oh, I've been absolutely objectifying my companion for half a season.
Ooh.
They only escape the loop the second time round because the Doctor acknowledges her as her own person. I want to keep an eye on the Doctor and work out at what point he works out the twist, because he definitely refers to Clara's time zombie as a she.
That is nice. I have a vague recollection of thinking that there's actually no reason for the time zombies to turn hostile.
Are they hostile? Maybe they're just like really like begging for help.
Maybe.
They're just running away from horrific burn victims.
Was that all we see of the pool, by the way?
Yeah, that's your Flash. Who fans?
It looked really fun. It looked like a really cool space that I'd like to spend time in.
I do have to wonder, like, it is a bit of a contradiction making the TARDIS like the best wonder palace, right? Because if the ship's an amazing treasure trove, if I'm a kid, I wouldn't want to leave it. I don't want to go outside and have the excellent adventures.
True. I would want to spend a lot of time in that pool. I'd sort of love to see a series that takes a departure and actually has the Doctor form a big crew.
It's a slice of life.
Maybe actually quite a few people.
Jay, no, that's Flux.
That's what I've always thought, is that there should be more time, like more scenes where the characters are just chilling out in the TARDIS.
Now you're just describing Time Lash. Yeah, I'm a long-term companion, Jay. I sort of specialise in indoor adventures, if you catch my drift. Would that game plan be safer than going outside? Could I just hang about indoors and like be way safer and live a lot longer?
I mean, we're talking about just philosophies for life now, I feel.
What, being a sheltered shut-in like I am literally currently? Yep.
Yeah. Can I stay safe by not going outside ever?
Fuck's sake. This is the kind of post-COVID material people want to be watching.
I remember thinking that they made the TARDIS too powerful in this one. It's like, if the Doctor has this stuff, why does he ever lose any battle ever?
Oh yeah, he can, like, the TARDIS can grow anything for him, can't it?
Yeah.
Pretty fun, pretty nuts. At the same time, it does make them feel like they're traipsing around in a god. Like, I guess, I'm gonna go all wanky here. You got man versus man stories and man versus environment stories, and this is a really cool example of that latter one. All that story premise has to do is remind you that you're not even in a literal space. You're in like some metaphysical portal world, and I think suddenly it becomes very scary.
Oh, you could have like an episode about an evil TARDIS.
Yeah, the dimensions of the room I'm in are hostile.
Ooh. That's the book with the Doctor's name in it. I'm remembering a lot more about this episode as I go.
And she opens it up on the exact page that tells her his name.
She read the entire book in between cuts.
Hang on, that name definitely goes on to provoke a war in the next few episodes, and it's just in a published book the Doctor has.
That's true, it is. I really like the idea of just like a library inexplicably containing bottles labeled encyclopedia as like some kind of alien unknowable thing.
There's really nice bursts of high concept sci-fi, but it's too brief. You hear the pitch and you think, oh, surely this is the most surreal episode of the show ever. But it's just not. And all these important rooms we go to, we're not learning anything about the Doctor either. So I do get why some call it a missed opportunity. Show us the TARDIS cheese factory, you cowards.
Oh, Scooby-Doo. We are deep in this episode and not much has happened yet. I remember it moving faster than this.
Well, the story's come to a bit of an impasse because the TARDIS itself is stopping them from progressing the plots.
It wants to make sure the episode is 45 minutes in length.
It's literally threatening the fabric of the show. I think I know why I like this one more than the rest in this run. It's because it does something vital in splitting up Clara and the Doctor.
Does that not happen in any of the other episodes?
You know what? Other than Akaten briefly, I don't think so. It's twee on twee, and their dynamic just does not work for me until the 50th anniversary. Actually, no, to be fair, maybe it's planned that way because I only start liking Clara as a character after this episode, when the Doctor starts recognizing her as a person.
That's fun.
Of course, small problem with that, of course, is that Clara, the way she's being written by Moffat and the gang, is just a puzzle box. Like, you can convince me she's her own person all you want, but they haven't really shown us that.
One thing that I remembered not liking earlier was the line where she opens a door and there's just an explosion behind it and she's like, "Ooh, bad move," and runs away like she's a quip machine.
She fully was. She's a total Moffat mouthpiece early on. But she's about to blossom into my favourite ever Doctor Who companion, so that's pretty strange for me. I really went looking for some, like, the deepest take I could find on this episode, because, you know, it's not the most meaty script ever. And, like, I feel like I'm pretty pretentious, but then there were some takes I read, some essays that were really digging for something deeper.
Journey to the center of the episode, am I right?
Interior dimensions, more like interior meaning. There's one here that's talking about Joseph Campbell's Hero of 11 Faces, and I'm like, fucking hell, guys, it's not that deep.
Hero's journey to the center of the TARDIS.
Boom!
This is neat.
The whole episode's neat. It's got neat in spades. I think early Clara, not only is she just like super ultra witty, sexy, funny, brave, like lots of Moffat characters are, it's like she's already come pre-packaged with knowledge of what a Doctor Who companion is.
A feeling like she was just sort of an instant companion, just add water.
But it ended up being a slow burn for me. Slow burn, get it? Because she's horrifically burned. We haven't spoken about the sidecast once so far, Jay. Let's try and name them. The one who thinks he's a robot's called Trixie. The older brother? Go on, Jay, you know, of course. His name is...
Splungo. Trungus.
Yeah, Brungus. Brungus has actually got a really good arc. No one ever really acknowledges that about this episode.
What's their father called?
Currently, as of unnamed father, is called Davros.
Ooh, what a twist.
I think our side characters come under fire a bit for being like blunt and boring and bully dickheads.
I understand that.
Yeah, they're not likable. In fact, the older brother, every single line that comes out of his mouth is designed to make you hate him.
I mean, I could see these guys running around in Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, the 13th Doctor story, penned by Chris Chibnall.
Ouch. Okay. Acting-wise, they're wooden, yeah. They get a lot of slate for that. But I think it's just in comparison to all the twee. I think if you're next to Matt Smith, you're next to Jenna Coleman, just talking like a normal person is going to be a bit out there.
How much of this is just, hey, people really like the Doctor's wife?
It's very samey to last year in The Doctor's Wife.
And they must be aware of that by the point they're making this.
Steve Thompson, you're like Neil Gaiman. And honestly, I think that's why it doesn't wow me much. It's the fact that if this had been like the first time we'd had such a timey-wimey plot that literally does a full loop at the end, I'd be really impressed. It's that so much of the Moffat years have been this. The thing is, even the previous episode, like Hyde, right before this, also had doppelgangers from the future.
I've just noticed that as soon as the danger has been established, as soon as someone's been impaled, and that's now the thing we're dealing with in the story, the rods have stopped expanding and impaling the walls.
The TARDIS was like, oh, shit, oh man, sorry. Whoa. Yeah, this went too far.
The TARDIS is embarrassed.
So how are we thinking about them, Girl Boss gaslighting their brother into thinking he was a robot?
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
I think it's fine. There's so much worse to get annoyed at in Doctor Who.
It's a stupid joke.
The reason they're not Chibnall characters ultimately is because the Doctor does actually share a single dynamic with them. Trying to find even one good bone in this guy's body, that's something. And another thing, he's a parallel. Or is it a coincidence that the episode about brothers not recognizing one of their others as a real person is also the same one where the Doctor has to recognize Clara as a real person?
That's really fun.
I still just keep thinking about living in the TARDIS rent-free. Like, maybe I'll just get lost and he can't even come and find me.
Well, are you suggesting that you get invited on board as a companion and then you just do a sprint down the nearest hallway until the Doctor can't find you anymore?
Oh, he is never seeing me again. I'm gonna get my jammies and I'm gonna go walkabout. That was basically the pitch of one of my short trip submissions once. Nick Briggs didn't like it though. He wrote me a response. He wrote me a real strongly worded fucking response.
Very angry side.
I didn't know Nick Briggs had that side to him. Okay, so it's dope that there's an exploding star in the TARDIS, of course. But if we're going to do an Eye of Harmony story and we're not in a gothic TV movie castle, what's the point
We
of it
should
all?
be in a castle, to be fair.
They were all proud of their new TARDIS set. And they were like, shit, yeah, no, we really got to milk this thing.
I mean, they must have built that set just for this episode, though. Most of the hallways and most of this room must have been built just for this story, because we won't see it any other time.
I'd never be able to relax in the pool when there's like time-space bollocks happening outside weekly.
I'm from your future. We haven't got long. There's a reset time.
Oh, like last week when that happened. In Hyde. We're really burning through these Claras. Actually, that makes her a very convenient companion. He can always just go get another one.
Like antimony. I like recording these sounds because it means I can make an antimony reference and assume you know what I mean.
Oh, I'm so sorry to disappoint.
Oh no! Death comes to time.
I'm so sorry. Oh, okay, so here's something strange. The Doctor and Clara have to they have to work their beef out in this episode, and they have to literally touch at the end to fix the plots. The brothers do it, and they grow as people, and then this happens to them.
They did come together.
She was you.
You're scaring me.
What are you, eh? A trick? A trap?
This is some great stuff here.
11 voicing our impatience with the series arc is kind of funny. I always felt like I was going crazy from the lack of answers, but here's the Doctor telling her, demanding, I'm gonna get some fucking answers this time.
I feel like you couldn't show the TARDIS engine without it being a disappointment. It wouldn't feel right to show the thing that powers this great unknowable machine.
That didn't stop many, many books from trying. But, visually, this is kind of the best you could hope for. If you're not going like full abstract with something as surreal as the TARDIS, then you failed the brief.
Not dead.
I really love the sound design as well, that unsettling twinge in the background. I am the Doctor immediately blurring it it wasn't conducive to the atmosphere that I was enjoying there.
Standard fare.
Man, that scene ends quickly.
Yes. Oh, and more Crush 40. That's conducive to the vibe I'm feeling in this scene.
Oh, so the Sonic can be a laser, I guess.
Yes. Don't question it. So, when we get to the ending and everybody forgets the events of the last 45 minutes, I think so many fans just write it off. That's an unforgivable trope. But I don't know, they've both gotten nicer. The younger brother still thinks he's a robot, so presumably they're going to have these conversations again now that they know they're conversations that need to be had.
They don't even have something immediate in their face forcing them to have it now.
So that's going to be an awkward conversation to have again.
I will never forget the journey of these men.
Big friendly button.
It's cool, timey-wimey stuff, but haven't we become a bit desensitized to this by now? Especially the Moffat era's coy way of teasing how clever it is. And it is clever, but the way they'll be like, big red button, it gets on my tits sometimes.
Did you just smack her on the ass? Is that what? Did that just happen?
I will go back. I can't confirm or deny.
Into the space of one.
Are we about to get the skirt line, or is that another one? The line about her being squeezed into a skirt, just a little bit too tight. The Doctor chasing skirt. I think that's next episode. I think that's Neil Gaiman.
Oh, Neil.
Naughty Neil. And Moffat gets a lot of flack for those beats, But they don't really happen in his episodes.
Oh wait, it's Crimson Horror next.
Oh, gross. Skip.
Is this like the most problematic Moffat episode as well?
Again, that's it. That's not Moffat writing. Everyone says, oh, Moffat was the horny one. But I'm not so certain. You could say Moffat wrote that bit at the end for Gaiman. But The Doctor's Wife is an excessively horny episode about kissing.
My theory has always just been that Moffat's horniness is seeping into the other writers' scripts.
That following the brief.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's just an excessively horny era. My neighbours are going to start thinking I'm a fucking nutcase if I keep saying that phrase.
I think that that's fine.
I'm in my excessively horny era.
I think they can think what they think.
You gotta commend the balls to actually go through and volunteer your plot having a big red reset button at the end, and then to call it a big red reset button.
I mean, a lot of people call it lamp shading, and I'm not so sure that it is. With lamp shading, you've got something that is inherently a problem, whereas this is just a big trope that people generally don't like, but that doesn't mean it's not possible to do well. A big reset button.
We've seen bad examples of it in the revival, especially. So it's easy to point at and go, bad ending. It was all a waste of time. No, come on, it wasn't. We had two characters change for the better.
I've developed a new appreciation of this episode over the course of the past watching this episode again.
I'm glad when people say that, because I really have been talking the fuck all the way through it.
That's sort of the point. I mean, I don't really know much about the editing process of these, but I gather it's horrible.
Nightmarish.
I don't envy you there. I mean, my brain's running on empty at the moment. No sleep, no brain.
Oh, no brain?
So,
That's pretty fucked.
no brain for me today.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to do stuff like this.